You know what keeps them moving and growing and living?
Tell me.
Is other catfish or that predator. So if we never have predators in our lives, we stay stuck and we don't progress nothing. So every time we ask, God, take away this stress, God, take away this issue, we're asking God to make us weaker, not stronger.
Okay.
Because instead of asking like, hey, God, make me more creative, make me more passionate, make me more patient, we ask, hey, take away this, but then we still want everything else that comes along with it. How does that work? That's lazy.
I don't know. I mean, if you think about it, it's, from the first time we're born, Danny, it's not easy.
Right.
Dude, you got to be 1 in a trillion sperm, really. And God's very, very clear that if you don't get to that egg first, done.
Right.
You're done. So from the moment we're given a chance, we're on the point of destruction from the beginning.
Exactly.
So in essence, why did that sperm get to that egg? Right? So you ask, it fought through, right? So
all right, so then you think of everything else, like as far as how people complain, how people say, oh, I want more money, I want this, but they don't look at everybody's backstory, the back end, the behind the curtains. They think, oh man, Dr. Jimenez, you're a doctor. Well, shit, you didn't know how many times you've lost and rebuilt your practice, or you're a gym owner you haven't made. You don't know how many times you have to go in at 4 a.m. to get a workout in because you have to train people all day long to ensure that this business stays afloat.
Right.
People don't see the back end.
Right.
They're quick to say, oh, it must be easy. No, it's not easy until you step into the person's shoes, because you're the one that has to sign the checks. You're the one that has to stay up at night and figure out payroll. You're the one that has to be creative and figure out how you're going to make ends meet. You're the one that constantly has to be on it. As much as you want to kick back and say whatever and do this, and I would love to work out 4 or 5 hours a day. That's my passion. Isn't that your passion?
Yeah, it's my passion, dude.
Can we?
No,
right?
No.
What do we have to do? We have to be meticulous. We have to be disciplined, and we have to ensure we have a proper order to ensure we stay on top of schedule. Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Exactly. So I'm saying at the end of the day is, if you don't have something chasing you, I think you become fat and dormant, and you become lazy.
I think nature is designed to eliminate you. Alex would say, it's survival of the fittest, limiting the species, or whatever he'd call it when he's in biochemistry stuff. I got to tell you, it's not easy to be a business owner. It's not easy when you have no sleep. Ever since I've known you, you've put time in from early hours in. You're here from 4:30 in the morning, and here, what time is it now? You're here.
Exactly.
You're here, and we're here sharing some stories. It's one of those things where it's going to be nonstop all our lives. But here's the thing: if you don't do it, it doesn't stimulate you to become good at what you do.
Right.
You become lethargic. Everything goes bad. Literally, you slowly begin the process of ceasing to exist. Right. So
we all need rest, right? Right. To rejuvenate, get creative. It's scientifically proven. You need that to reset. You have to, otherwise you burn out. Right.
Right.
Okay. After how many days of rest? 1, 2. Where you just get
disconnected,
spastic, you kind of like, all right, cool, I rested enough, I'm good. You don't stay stuck there.
No. See, and I pray for vacation, right? And when I get it after about 3 days, I'm like, okay,
right,
all right, I'm done.
Let's go. Yeah.
Okay. What am I going to break? What am I going to do? Yeah. So that's how we are.
Exactly, but that's what makes you so successful, right?
Yeah. It drives us. It drives us, and it drives us in creating who we are. And it also gives us a vision as to what we're going to do. Danny, when we start these podcasts, we want to get a little bit or tell the people a little bit about the story of what you do, and tell them about where you've been and what's been happening with you. Okay, so for me, it's very important to share with the people what is actually happening. I've always been one to say, I see how hard you work, and I see how much effort you put into things. But I'd like to know a little bit about you as to what actually made you and what kind of makes you click a little bit. When I actually discuss these things, I want to ask you, what made you begin Push? What made you start this massive, massive organization?
I wanted to reach the masses of people and help people. So in all reality, then in all reality, my sister, my brother-in-law, my brother, we've all come from platforms as far as speaking, preaching, singing, whatever it is. I was always kind of the black sheep, so to speak. And I mean that like in a good way, because I wasn't treated
Right.
differently. I just was very rebel, if that makes any sense. I wanted to create my own. So if my family went right, I'd go left. If the people would go right, I'd go left. I was always trying to find a different way, and I was just stubborn like that. But I think that's what allowed me to become the most successful. But that's what allowed me to create this place so I can reach the masses of people and have my own platform of changing people's lives.
Let me ask you, when you first started up Push, what was your what was the reason you started it out? You know, did you you were always into fitness? Ever since I've known you, you've always been into a deep understanding. You know, I love sharing that story with people about when I first met you. Okay, you were driven. I mean, you were this kid that's just like, you were hunting for knowledge. You were trying to figure out what it was that made people tick. And you wanted to teach people. A little cocky, I'd say, but being 18 years old, I mean, who isn't, right? At that age,
Right.
you haven't been thumped in the head a couple of times, but you did, and you shared it with people, and you did that. But what made you? What drove you? Because I got to tell you, I'm a big believer, Danny, about like when you evaluate families. I see how hard your dad works. I see how your mom's incredible in terms of what she does. She wins these CrossFit competitions just on mere, literally you have to turn off the lights to get her off the wall because she just keeps on going, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what is it what do you feel drove you, and what started the whole philosophy of trying to help people out?
I think like you put it, my parents' work ethic, they just never stop. They still don't stop. They still try to move forward despite what life throws at them, and they're successful in their own way. They never stop working towards their marriage, towards their love, towards serving each other. The biggest thing they showed me is we always have to serve people, and they serve each other. They serve at the church. They serve wherever they go. My dad, doesn't matter where it is. He's always trying to. If it's not your house, it doesn't matter. You try to take out your trash, clean the table, whatever it is. You got to tell him, hey, that like just chill. But that's where I learned it from. You don't just go anywhere and just be. Wherever you go, you always serve, and that's I think it's a faith mentality. You know, it's biblical. You wherever you are, we are supposed to serve people as husbands and wives. We're supposed to serve each other. Mm-hmm. That's what makes us so successful. You know, you look at Jesus in the Bible, and what did he do? He served people. He helped people. Not the norm, the most unorthodox and unreligious people. Mm-hmm. You know, all the people that needed the most help, not the most religious. And I think that's what I love to do. I love helping the people that need the most help, the odd, the unconventional. Not the people that are already athletic. Don't get me wrong. I do love helping them, but I guess I like helping the unorthodox, so to speak.
Yeah, you know what? When you mentioned that about your dad, one of the things I noticed is that I came here to work out at around 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was freezing outside, literally freezing. You had a flat tire. Your dad was lifting the car by himself to get that tire up.
Yeah,
it was crazy. I go. You know, by the time I got there, I was like, there's this guy working on it. There was no jack. He's actually picking up the car himself. He's pushing that thing up and lifting the car to fit the tire on. I was like, you got to be kidding me. You didn't even know. I told you. And they go, man, my dad never asks for, you know, he just does it. That's one of the things you said. And that's who we are. We are our parents. We eventually become our parents to some extent. And that's very much how you are. Right. Your philosophies that have guided the Push Fitness, you know, entourage and people, and the people that come here have been like extreme athletes. Tell me a little bit about that in terms of what actually drove you to pick athleticism as your way of serving.
I think seeing the potential of what people can be pushed to if you believe in them. So a lot of times people, people do believe in themselves, but it's amazing what you see people become, or individuals or athletes, when you say, "Hey, I believe in you." Someone that, not your mom, not your dad, because that's kind of like that's expected. Your sister, relatives, not that they have to tell you that, but it's kind of sometimes expected, right?
Yes, exactly.
But then you have this stranger saying, "I believe in you," genuinely, wholeheartedly, and it brings out that much more in you. I know that's how I was. I still remember various times where you tapped me on the shoulder and said, "What are you doing? You can." And I'm very different. I don't need someone to preach to me until I'm blue in the face. It's kind of like a little hug, kick, a get going, and that gets you going to move on to the next level of the mountain. And that's what allowed me. That's what I loved seeing, as a potential that you could bring down in all individuals.
When you see, pretty much you've been able to see everyone crack. What is it you look for when you see them kind of hit that wall, when you start working with an individual with the specifics that whatever sport they're in or whatever their dreams are, weight loss or whatever it is, what is it you look for?
To see the reason why they're quitting. Are they genuinely tired, or have they been babied so much by society that they don't know how to push for themselves anymore? And it's really a sensitive society nowadays. You can't push kids because they get their feelings hurt, or they feel this or that way. And sometimes it's like, dude, you gotta wake your ass up. If not, you're not gonna make it in this life. Nothing comes easy, and I think we're all expectant for things to become easy, because we're a microwave generation. Everything wants to be done so quick. So I look for the reason as to why they're quitting. It's genuinely like they're getting tired and they're gonna throw up. Cool, all right. But you remember firsthand when I worked out with you, I went to go to the restroom, threw up, I came right back. Why? Because it's what you build with that person, that respect. Why would you want someone next to you that's gonna quit on you when it gets hard?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right.
How are you gonna count on them? How are you gonna depend on them?
No,
exactly.
You can't.
When it gets tough, they're just gonna jump the wagon. That's it. You're left alone.
You're given a responsibility, a huge one, with a lot of the El Paso kids in whatever sports they do, and whatever the sport, whether it be agility sport based or just some sort of sport based system where they're just kind of let's say hockey, or even things like tennis or golf, but they all have a moment of trying to reaching within. I love the way you do that in terms of you can go ahead and see the depths of what is wrong with them, and you can actually connect with them like no other. I've seen that every single time, and with my own kids too. When you train them, you asked why. So really, like that bodes to the point. No one cares what you know; they care that you care, and that caring really allows them to open up, huh?
Right? Yeah, definitely, it does. It does. It makes them see, like, I do have it in me. I need to quit babying myself.
Right.
And I need to get up and get after this, because no one's going to give it to me. I got to get up after it and work for it, period.
When I would tell my daughter, or when they would come in and say, you know what, I'm not coming, and I'm not going today, right? And I'd say, all right, well, let me call Danny. No. They feel like they have they sense the obligation that, and the trust that you've put into their hearts like no other, because that's what they want. They want someone to believe in them.
Exactly. To push them.
That's why the push, huh? The push. There's another word. There's the adage of the push. These are very important points. What got you in? Do you have to deal with like the mind stuff and like work? How do you work on developing a child's, or working them through their own mental impediments or their own mental kind of dynamics to make them better of who they are. If that makes sense, yeah?
You got to build a foundation with them first. You got to build trust with them. You can't just go in and yell at them, hey, let's go. Let's go. Like, move your ass. Don't be a little bitch. You can't just do that. You have to build a relationship first, have them trust you, and have them understand as to why you're pushing them. And then when they're at the brink of giving up, then you yell at their ass and they know why you're yelling at them. A good parent, after they spank their kid or ground them, they'll tell them the reason why they did that. But they don't stop loving them. They appreciate because they know they're wrong.
Right.
Same concept here. Obviously, I don't hit them, but I do yell at them after they know, like, hey, like, yeah, I was sucking. I need to stop feeling sorry for myself and get after it.
Right. My own experience with what you did, you have a lot of moms watching you train their kids. Moms are real sharp. There's nothing smarter than a mother in this world.
Right.
And they intuitively, they understand and they feel the depths of the change in the child, right? So when they see the depths of the change in the child, they trust you. And this is en masse because I have like a whole wall of families of moms, dads. They bring their kids no matter what. Tired, cold, sleet, rain, snow. They bring their kids here to train with you and your entire crew with the philosophies of pushing to those limits. How does that feel when you see those kids, excel?
Proud, completely pretty much over the moon because you see the hard work that you took to instill that time into them and make sure their full potential came out. So it's rewarding. It's inexplicable.
Let me ask you this. You've been now, you're not young, like 16 years more. You're in your 30s, which is a very young age. However, you've lived long enough to see some of these kids go on and to do their thing. Tell me how that feels in terms of you watching them develop in terms of their who they are and what they develop because of the foundation, or at least influenced by the foundation of just don't give up and keep on pushing through it. How does that feel? What do you think?
It feels very, in a lot of sense, a lot of pride because you can see what they could have been and then what they couldn't have been. A lot of times, these some kids do come from poor extremities, and so to see them excel, believe in themselves, to go to college, to get a successful job, to be something of a higher profession that otherwise they thought they couldn't build, or settling for less, and not letting them settle for less is really amazing. It's utmost. That's why I keep doing what I'm doing.
Do these kids keep on calling you and they talk to you personally?
Yeah, they do. They still kind of keep up with me as far as like what they're doing, how they're doing. They'll come in, work out, still, chit chat with me. Everything. It's fun. You build that long lasting relationship.
If you could come up with a couple of words of indicating of what makes Push unique, and you can look deep inside your heart and figure out what it would be. Say you had an obituary being read about you. What would they say about Push and you? Huh? What would you want them to say?
Honestly, that they had somebody other than their parents believe in them.
That's amazing, dude. That's really a huge component to everything that's going on. When do you think someone actually should be coming out to this place and enjoying the kind of lifestyle that this place helps enhance their lives with? When is that time?
Whenever you want to be a better version of yourself.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. What do you think people sometimes think about? Why shouldn't they come in? What should not be an impediment of them coming in here?
Their image, that they can't do it, that they're not athletic enough, that they're obese, that they have knee problems, low back problems, they're gonna look foolish. The whole thing is that at the end of the day, we've all looked foolish to one extent or another. But the point is, if I always assumed what others thought, and paid attention to how I felt as far as being embarrassed and not being good enough, then I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Well, I gotta tell you, I've learned a lot from you, and if anything, my kids have learned a lot from you by just your persistence. I can honestly tell you that my son is better as an athlete because of your relationship with you. But let me ask you, in terms of what kind of physical changes as well as emotional changes have happened with you in terms of watching your clients attain their goals?
Hearing people say he saved me from diabetic medications. From when you hear people say like, I would have died being in this obese state, but
Yeah.
you saved my life, man. That's
That's
how
huge.
do you
Huh?
not get emotional with things like that? How do you not get emotional when people saying like, I thought I couldn't walk or had this muscle imbalance or muscle type of how do you say where I had this one client that couldn't build muscle. I can't remember the terminology, but the fact that she can build muscle now, where the doctor told her she wouldn't be able to squat a bar, and now she's squatting over 135 pounds. That's phenomenal. How does that not keep you motivated and getting up every single day when you don't feel like getting up? And I'll say it again. I in King David, when you had to encourage yourself, because not somebody's not always going to be there to encourage you. So you do have to encourage yourself so you can be the best for somebody else that needs it more than you. Ultimately, at the end of the day, someone has it harder than you, and you can always help somebody under you.
Well, Danny, you've basically said it in very short and very important keywords. We appreciate you. We're here at the Push Fitness Center. You got some information there that you can use to find Mr. Alvarado. The Push Fitness Center is a monster center with a lot of people that care and make changes in people's lives. If you guys have any questions, any comments, any ideas in terms of what we do for people, let us know, and we're here to serve, as Danny is. Danny, thank you very much, brother, and I appreciate everything you've done. And God bless, brother.
God bless. Thank you.